up, everybody? It's your boy Chad Sommer here on Rock Bottoms Up Podcast. This podcast that shines a light on the tough journey of addiction recovery. Today, we are talking about the often hidden struggles people face on this path. These challenges affect millions, but there is hope. Through powerful stories from those who have faced battles and won, we aim to inspire and give you the tools to overcome. Each episode, we bring real-life stories and expert advice to help you understand and support recovery. So whether you're on your own recovery, supporting a loved one, or just want to learn more, you're in the right place. Let's break the chains together. Welcome to Rock Bottoms Up, everybody. Let's welcome our guest, Rob Rene, to the show. Rob Rene, thank you so much for joining us today.
What a great intro. That's a fantastic. I love your energy, and I'm so excited to be here just because I believe I've got a story that can inspire some people. So I'm excited to walk through it with you. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I believe that, Rob. Just being able to get to know you, my friend, you do have quite the story, and we are so excited to have you here on the show. So let's get this party started off, my friend, and let the listeners get to know Rob Rene just a little bit. So if you don't mind, Rob, go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sounds great. So I'm a gentleman who's just on fire for Christ at the moment, but I was not there for I haven't been there forever. I grew up in Idaho and didn't really know what I wanted to do for a living in this world, and didn't know much about religion, etc. But I've really had a really interesting life. I've had an amazing mom and dad who were awesome, and I ended up getting married, and I was married for 10 years, and then got divorced and got married again. And I'm almost literally in a few weeks, I'm going on 25 years with my second wife, and we have a hers, mine, and ours family. So I've got 3 wonderful children, and I've got 3 wonderful grandchildren as well. So I've got a blessed life, and I'm just on fire to help people to learn from my story, so that they can avoid some of the pitfalls that I went through, and hopefully they can see the vision and the future that I have, because it's really, really bright, and I know that God has a plan for my life, and I'm stepping into that finally, something I avoided for quite a long time.
Amen. Amen to that, brother. I absolutely love that, my friend. Absolutely love that. Everybody's walk with God is different, but here in recovery, that is one thing that I have completely leaned on, is that there is a power greater than me, and I have turned my life over to Jesus. And since doing that, God, as long as I put my best foot forward, God has always been there to help me along the way.
Amen. Amen.
So Rob, you mentioned you kind of had some pitfalls. How did your journey into addiction begin?
Yeah, for me, it was really an interesting one, is because it was over a really long period of time. I grew up with parents who both drank and smoked, and so it wasn't a big deal. Just but now I look back on it, and I think they were both alcoholics, and my grandparents were probably alcoholics, and it was just all around my family. And so growing up, I was the youngest of 3 boys, and my oldest brother, he was a problem child, and he was always the one that got in trouble. And my middle brother was the angel. And he was always perfect, right? And so I kind of weaved my way in the middle. So I dabbled in things I shouldn't have, but I was trying to be good, right? So it was like one of those things. But alcohol was around the family a lot, and then it went into a career that was heavily oriented on entertaining. And so I went into sales, and I'm in sales. Well, even way before my career, just starting off as a youth, right? It was always the thing to do was to drink, right? I was an athlete when I was young. I ran track and was a really good runner. And I got a full ride running scholarship to a Division I school, and things were going really well, but I still drank, right? I still, even through that period. So I wasn't a really big drinker in college, but I drank a lot, and even I was at a religious school, so I had to hide my drinking, and I would still do it. And then I went in, like I mentioned, I went into sales, and that I think ended up being my downfall, is that I was paid to entertain people. And so I'd take them out to lunch, we would drink. I'd take them out to dinner, we would drink. It was 5 o'clock somewhere, we would drink. And it was just something that just became over time a serious habit. And I call it that because it was just a habit. I would drink, every day, and got to the point where, over a 20-year period, I probably drink every single day for, decades, which is just horrible, right? For now, I look back on it, I see it as horrible. But while I was in that mode, it didn't just seem destructive. It just seemed normal, right? It's like my neighbors drank. We'd go to the football games, you'd drink, you'd watch, there's so many opportunities to drink, right? You got to go watch your sports game. Oh, I better have a drink. It's there's just alcohol everywhere. And so, and I enjoyed when I had alcohol around, and it just became a part of me. And then I think over time it just started to control me, and that's where I realized I needed to make a change. But that took a long time to get there, way too long.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Rob, just hearing your story, I mean, I think you give a really great perspective to, I've talked, I've talked to people who are like third generation, like meth heads,
Uh-huh.
sixth generation alcoholics.
Right.
And it, when you grow up with it, when you see it, being used, it really doesn't dawn on you, having that perspective of not being in a home
Right.
that was so accessible. The perspectives are a lot different. And so, usually right now I kind of segue and ask you, like, what were some early signs, some thoughts or urges or social pressures from family members that kind of segued you into drinking? What would be your perspective? Because I mean, it was just accessible to you.
It was accessible, and that's the frustrating thing. It was more myself other than other people. I think I really look back on it. It was just like I really wanted to drink. I enjoyed the drink. I enjoyed sneaking out and going down to the gas station couple miles from our house, and I knew that this one gentleman would sell me alcohol, right? And
Yeah.
I had to wait till he was working, and anytime he was working, he would sell it to me. So, I would wait around and then find when he was working, and then when he's working, I could go in and buy my 12-pack of beer, right? And that was when I was in high school. And then it was just I remember stealing wine from my parents' fridge, and taking it out on a date with me. And it was one of those things that was kind of exciting, and it was like
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it. All my friends drank, and it was like, okay. But again, I was an athlete, so I didn't do it a lot during high school. But it was just one of those things that was still, I thought it was a good thing to drink, instead of realizing now how destructive it can be to your health and to your life. And so, I really warn people that have youth to not let them do what I did, because I think it's a really destructive thing. So anyway, I think that's where I started. It was like it was accepted. It was
Yeah.
you know, it was exciting, and I just started progressing into that. And it was always something I enjoyed. And then, like I mentioned, that when I got into the sales career, then it just became a habit. So
Yeah.
it went from every occasion to every day, and that's when it over decades. That's when it really deteriorated my health and my brain. So
Down. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's just science. So we
yeah,
learn that now, back then, like you said, in your case, something that, it was a common thing, it's like having, salt and pepper on the dinner table. It was just something that was there and it was being used. But it's funny how something that's so accessible doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good thing, all the time, Um, so here you are, it was accessible. I mean, especially, I have friends that are high up in their companies, in their business. That's what they do. They entertain the clients, and
right.
and you want to appease these people, right?
Yeah, I
Because
mean that was a really
money,
important part of my job. Like,
money's on the line here, right?
yeah,
A
well,
contract are on the line.
dealing with senior executives when we're dealing with million dollar contracts, right? So it's like it was expected for me to go entertain them and take them out to a ridiculously expensive
Yeah,
dinner that costs thousands of dollars, and guess what you're drinking, right? You're drinking
yeah,
really expensive wines, and you're drinking
yeah.
cocktails before, and then you take them out to the bar after
Yes.
all of that, so by the time you take the whole evening, you
Yeah,
a ridiculous amount of alcohol, and that was expected.
yeah.
And so
Oh,
then
yeah,
you wake
yeah.
up the next day, you feel like crap, and you're like, oh, I better have a couple of drinks just
Just
to
get
recover,
going.
right?
Yeah,
So
just to lube that engine up
yeah.
and get so it can get going.
And then
Yeah,
at 5 o'clock, it's guess what? It's 5 o'clock. better
yeah,
better have my drink. It's 5 o'clock. So
yeah. And then it
yeah,
becomes a rinse and repeat, right?
yeah, it was
You
just
know,
every day. It's
you-
like, hey, go grab a beer. This was just really a natural thing that became
yeah,
just such a ridiculous habit that
yeah,
everybody around my family knew I drank, but I didn't like. It wasn't like an excessive, drunk where I was got drunk every day where I was stumbling around. I was a very highly functional alcoholic.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think it sucks that people can be very highly functional because, I
yeah,
was able to hide it for a really, 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 really long time.
yeah,
That I had this where I just wanted to drink every day. So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, no, it's alcohol's addiction for a reason, right? I mean, whether it's a crutch for coping or not, once it gets in that system, your system starts to
your
penetrate.
system expects it. Yeah,
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 no, you really your body, your body does adapt the way that you act and function every day. It definitely becomes a dependency.
for sure.
Um, so Rob, here you are. You're, as a child, you've been, alcohol was not uncommon around you, as you can mention with your grandparents and your parents, even a sibling. Obviously, like you had mentioned, high school, you kind of get into that the social end of it, and it's something that is kind of a fun thing. It's practice is a fun thing. What are we going to do on the weekend? Well,
Yeah,
what else are we going to do? It's Idaho.
whose party
You
you're gonna
know,
go to? Yeah,
it is Idaho.
right.
What else are we going to do? Tip a cow? No, we're going to go build the bonfire and we're going to go drink. That was my
Have a kegger,
experience.
right? That was
Yeah, that was my experience growing up as well. So what at what turning point Did it finally come to a head, Rob, where you're like, okay, this has been a part of my life, this has been a part of my job, um, day in, day out, this is starting to feel like Groundhog Day. At what point or what experience did you have that you just came to terms with, I don't want to drink anymore?
It's such an interesting question because it's really hard for me to answer that question because there wasn't like just a defined drop dead moment where I said, "Oh, I'm gonna stop." It was really gradual because I started realizing that I'm not functioning the way I should be. My health
Mm,
was getting bad. I was getting chubby. I was out of shape. I wasn't exercising,
yeah,
and wasn't eating well. And then I was forgetting things a lot, and I was really I was a professional, right? I sold and did really, really well in my career. And I just started just not, remembering things that I should. And I was just not functioning well. And I was like, I don't know what this is or why this is happening. But then I'd
yeah,
push it off. Right. And then
sure.
I just keep going. Then I'd push it off. And my wife would say something and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "Nothing's wrong with me.
Yeah,
Nothing's wrong with me. I'm fine." And that happened for quite a while. And then I just got to the point literally where I just felt bad. I just felt bad, and I just did not feel well for a really extended period of time. I'm just like, I don't feel good in the morning. I don't feel good in the afternoon. I don't feel good in the evening, and I just don't feel well. And I finally got to the point where literally I was laying in bed with my wife one night, and I just said, and I thought about it a lot, but I never made the decision.
yeah,
And I think that's the critical thing is on that night I made the decision. I
yeah.
said, I'm not going to drink anymore. And my wife about fell out of the bed because
Uh,
she's been with me for a really long, long period of time, probably 20 years, not quite 20 years at that time. So, she'd wanted me to quit forever, but I just said, hey, I'll quit whenever I want to quit. And I think that's an important thing is that most people are never going to get better until they make the decision themselves to get better. And I finally got to that point where I just like, why am I doing this to myself? Right? I just do not feel well. So I'm gonna stop drinking. And I did have a couple of periods like during that 20 years where I took 40 days off, right? And I was like so proud. I was like, hey, I didn't drink for 40 days. I thought I could quit anytime. And that was always my mentality. It's like, oh, I'm not really addicted. I can quit whenever I want. And anyway, so I finally did. I finally at that night I just said, okay, I'm going to stop drinking. And
yeah,
but what I did do before I actually made that decision, I did some research, right? I said, okay, so obviously I had been thinking about it for a while, for weeks, and I was
yeah,
like, so I started researching. Okay, if I am addicted to alcohol, because I didn't feel like I was really addicted. It was such an enormous habit that I was just like, well, I could drink, a 12 pack and I wouldn't be drunk. That's so I had my tolerance was through the roof, right?
right.
But so I was like, I don't know if I'm addicted or not. I think I am. So I just started doing research, and the research scared me because, like, I didn't want to go into a program. I wanted to just, I'm such a stubborn individual. I just like said, I want to try to do this on my own. And
Yeah,
so I said, what if I can, right? I didn't want the embarrassment of going to a program. I didn't want to go, I went to church every weekend, and I didn't want to go to the church and do it. I just felt that it's something I needed to do. And I said, if I'm going to do this, how am I going to do it? I'm going to pray to the Lord. I'm going to rely on Him, and I'm going to rely on my wife, and then I'm going to research it myself. So I did. I researched it myself, and was like, okay, gosh, actually, I got to be really kind of careful because with addiction, with alcohol anyway, you can kill yourself if your body's so used to it and you just all of a sudden don't take any, then your body can go into, it's a really difficult period of time. So I was like, I don't want to kill myself. So, maybe I should go get some help. So I went to a doctor and just said, hey, I'm gonna quit drinking. Can what do you recommend? Can you help me? And he's like, yeah, I can give you some medication that will help you with your withdrawal symptoms for, a period of time. And then if you see how you can do, and then we can just monitor your body. We can see how things are going, and it was awesome for me because I think I used those pills for maybe a week, and I didn't really feel withdrawals at all. And I exercised a lot. I started doing exercises. I prayed every day. I prayed with my wife. I was like, I want to be better. I want to be healthy. I don't want to do this anymore. And so we got rid of all the alcohol and all, it's everything in the house, and so it wasn't available to me. So that made it easier for me not to do it. And then went through that period of time where it was a couple of weeks where I didn't have to travel. I didn't have to do my sales jobs that I had been doing. So I didn't have any temptations for a couple of weeks. And I was able to get through that period with very little withdrawals. And I just told doctors, I feel fine. It's like, well, if you feel fine, then let's just stop taking them and see how you feel. And I got through it, and I think it was really, and I'm not going to say easy because it definitely wasn't easy, and it's definitely not easy to continue it over time. But I would say I was surprised how easy it was. I didn't have any of the things I was really worried about, right, with the withdrawal symptoms and having my body freak out and need it. I was able to, through exercise and nutrition and things that I had researched. I was like, how do I take care of this body that I've been not taking care of for a really long period of time? How do I take care of it? So I started, eating healthy. I started drinking a lot of water. Started doing, the exercise every day, walking at that point because I was pretty heavy. I was probably 30 pounds overweight. And then I lost. I couldn't even. I used to be a runner. I think I told you in my youth, and so my wife was running at this time, and I couldn't even run with her, and that was frustrating. So I started walking, every day, and then when I got to the point where I could start jogging, and then I started, now we run. Together we run, 3 miles every, 3 times a week together. So, we've transitioned over the last, I think it's been almost 6 years that I've been sober, coming up in like another month or two, and I'll be on six. So,
Congratulations, Rob. 6 years,
right.
my friend. That's awesome. So, Rob, from your very first drink to your very last drink, how long would you say you had alcohol or battled alcohol in your life?
Well, gosh, I mean, I don't think it was a real big battle early on. I think it was just something I did. But
Yeah.
I drank when I snuck alcohol when I was probably 12, really young, right? And I'm 56 now, so
Yeah.
so I would think I must have been 50 when I stopped. So that's a really long
Yeah.
time, about 30
Yeah. Yeah.
years or something.
Yeah, 30 plus years. Yeah, you're kind of like me, 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Um, and then you'd mentioned kind of your own personal discovery. I think subconsciously you started realizing alcohol was beginning to be an issue as you had mentioned yourself, you'd have these little 30-40 day runs of sobriety, but then you'd see yourself slip back into old habits again.
On day 41, it was like, oh yeah, game on.
Yeah,
Right? It's like, hey,
yeah.
I did it.
I, I gave
I go celebrate.
Yeah, I gave the liver long enough to breathe. I gave it a good enough rest.
Exactly.
It's time to
It definitely
call.
covers itself, right? So,
Yeah, Yeah, it's time to call it to get back on the field and start to play
Yeah,
again.
it's so stupid.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you gave yourself, these little spurts of sobriety, and then you started noticing the brain fog, the
Yeah.
forgetting, the physical wear and tear that, alcohol, with long use of alcohol, starts to break down and deteriorate the body. But then you kind of had yourself, that aha moment where you decided, you know what, I just don't feel good. I don't want to have this in my own life. So you took it upon yourself to start researching it, which I commend you doing, because a lot of people don't take that step.
Right.
They do go cold turkey. They have a huge kickback, and what usually ends up happening is they jump back on the drinking wheel again because they assume that there's nothing that they can do. But you
Right.
took it a step further. You did your research, you educated yourself, you realized that this isn't something that you should do by yourself, and then you reached out by making that phone call, getting that professional, that doctor involved to assist you
Yeah.
in moving forward with you moving towards excuse me, moving towards sobriety and recovery. So I commend you
Thank you.
on
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah, I commend you because again, like I said, a lot of people make that mistake that this is something that they can just quit.
It
And
was really
to
important for my
people out
success.
there,
Yeah.
yeah, to the
Really.
listeners out there, please reach out. Alcohol especially. That liver, you cut alcohol out of that liver, and you'll put that liver in shock, and you can put yourself in the hospital, and in some cases, a lot of people have lost their life by
Yeah.
doing that. So
Yeah.
please do seek help, seek professional help.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's not expensive. It's not hard. It's really
uh,
something that you can do relatively inexpensively, and you can do it, man. When you make your mind up, it's amazing what you can do. And that's I
Amen.
want to give people encouragement that my gosh, it's something you don't have to continue to live with. You don't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
once you make up your mind, it's not up to your spouse, it's not up to your child, it's not up to your grandma. It's up to you. It's up
Yep.
to you. And if
Yep.
you can have a relationship with God,
Amen.
you can rely on him and he can help you. And if you don't have a relationship with him yet, I pray that you sometime will, but just
Yeah.
you still have to know that there's a reason that you're on this earth, right? And God has you on this earth for a reason, and you woke up today with breath in your lungs. And
Amen.
so you have a purpose. And
Awesome.
I don't believe your purpose is to be addicted to any substance. And
Yeah.
so let's figure out a way and do it in a way that you're comfortable with, but figure out a plan. Go do a little bit of research. Say, hey, I was going to do this. No one needs to know I'm thinking about this. But if I
Yeah.
was to stop, what would I do? How would I do it? And
Right.
you can go make yourself a plan and then go get it done, and then people around you are going to be blown away, and
Yeah.
you're going to be yeah, just amazing. The way that you feel once you accomplish that a task is something that no one can ever take away from you again.
Yeah. And your transformation is absolutely amazing, and we'll get into that. But first, I kind of want to touch base because we were talking about
I probably
you
skipped
getting.
some steps. Sorry. All
No, you're perfect. We're right on cue here.
right. All right.
Um,
Good.
yeah, we're right on cue. You were just talking about, getting sober and talking to your doctor and getting on these pills that helped you, and your wife being a good support, and,
Yeah, she
and
was
you
amazing.
know
Yeah.
how you guys were coming together and praying together and exercising together. It sounded like she was a really great support for you.
She
But
was.
my question for you, being, being in that job that you were in, entertaining guests, tell me what that like, because obviously this was something socially, you did to entertain. How was that transition from being the guy that was drinking, with these possible partners or contract, to now all of a sudden you're basically not doing that, and now you're kind of more of a babysitter than anything, really, for these guys.
Yeah,
How
that's
was how
true.
was that, and was that a hard transition for you?
It wasn't easy. I'll definitely tell you that, right? But what I
Yeah,
learned to do was I loved I just tonic and lime was my drink. So I would have a tonic and lime, right? And I would have it in my hand like everybody else, and I would drink my tonic and lime just like they're drinking their alcohol. And then I would have another tonic and lime because I wanted to, it was a habit, right? So this thing, it was a habit. So I would still do my habit, but the habit just didn't have any alcohol in it. So,
yeah,
and then I didn't feel like I was left out either, right? I was just I'd walk around, with my tonic and lime, and
yeah,
it became, they didn't know, most of the people had no clue that I was not drinking. All right.
yeah,
And I didn't care. I wasn't advertising it. I wasn't wearing this big, chest thing on my chest that says I
yeah,
is alcohol free. I just
yeah, yeah.
I
I'm like,
just, when people would say, what do you want to drink?" I'd say like a tonic and lime, and then I'd even go to the bar and order it if I didn't want to, if I felt I did, I didn't even think about it. I just said I'm just not going to do it. So I'm gonna, and if I'll have this around me, and that gave me at least a little bit of my social comfort, where I didn't feel like I was an outsider, didn't feel like I was different. And to be honest, most people are very, very respectful of you when you say, I don't drink. But I would love a tonic and lime. And the people around you are very, very respectful of that. So I think in reality, there's a lot of people that want to do the same thing. They're just
yeah,
afraid to do it. And
yeah,
and if you, in fact, I've had a number of people come up to me that have said I was their inspiration. It's like, hey, if you did it, I can do it too. And
yeah,
so I think it's really important. Just
yeah,
step out in faith, and you can do it. I did it.
yeah.
If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Amen to that, Rob. Amen to that. So, so coming out of, years of alcohol, and the way that, you just learned how to manage your life, with this, substance in your life. In what ways has your perspective on life changed since you've been in recovery, since you've been sober?
Yeah, it's been such a night and day difference. I mean, my relationship with Christ is improved dramatically. I really, really, really understood that I here am on this earth for a purpose, and that He has a plan for my life. And I just wasn't unsure what that was for a really long time. And I ended up moving to Dallas, Texas, and it's been such an amazing experience because I'm in a men's group that's just on fire for Christ. There's 300 guys that get together every Saturday who are just are on fire for Christ, and it's like we're bold about it, right? We're warriors for our faith, and that's something I was in Oregon for 30 years, and it was like it's the most unchurched state in the nation. So
Yeah,
even though I went to church every Sunday, that's all it was. It was me. I'd go to church on Sunday, and then I would be, not even think about my fate for the rest of the week. And now I'm just 100% opposite. So I have a much better relationship with Christ than I ever have. But just physically, oh my gosh, I can go run again. I've lost 30 pounds. I'm right around 2'5". I'm a pretty big I'm 6 foot tall, muscular build, and
Wow.
been lifting weights for 6 months with my wife, and we exercise a lot, and it's just am eating well, and I've been on this health kick and health journey, as we'll talk about in a little bit later on what I'm doing professionally. But it's just it's been a lot of fun because I can think so much better, so much
Mm.
clearer. I can remember the things that I'm working on and doing, and my relationship with my wife has been incredible because she's so excited that I made that jump and transition, and she's so proud of me that it's just makes me
Yeah.
feel good that I was able to make her proud. Because when you have a wife, you always want to have a great relationship with your spouse, and when you're letting them down, it's not a great feeling. And I knew she didn't like what I was doing, but I didn't care, and that's not a great you know trait that I had, and I feel really good about myself that now I've done something that she really wanted me to do, but I had to make that decision. She couldn't make it for me, right?
Oh, no,
So,
no. No, from my understanding, Rob, it sounds like since you cut you cut that drink, that alcohol, that substance out of your life. It sounds like to me you're living a more happier, healthier, meaningful life that now now all of a sudden, is also strengthening your not just your relationship with God, but your partner in this life
for
with
sure.
your wife.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah, yeah.
that's beautiful.
It's improved dramatically for sure. Yeah, and I'm just so excited about where I have a great relationship with my father in heaven. I have a great relationship with my wife that could have easily, she could have easily left me many, many, many times through that period that thank God she stuck with me. And
Yes.
I didn't we got through that period, and now our relationship is really strong, and yeah, things are going well. I think my health is awesome. My wife is amazing, and but from a business perspective, I couldn't be more excited about where we're going because God is just putting the right people, the right place at the right time in
Man.
front of me, and we're doing some amazing things, and I'm really going to be able to help a lot of people in this world just through my experience, right? And I think that's what God. If I look back on my life, I think he had me go through these transitions and these periods, and to learn, and he
Yeah.
shaped me beautifully. Not that I'm saying I'm beautiful, but I'm just saying he shaped me in a way that now I am the person that I am, and that
Yes.
I can now go share my experience and I can help other people. And I'm so excited to be able to do that because I do have an interesting story. I got hit by a truck when I was young. I've almost died a number of times in my life. My
Oh,
brothers
no.
call me, that I'm on my ninth life. So I'm super excited. I know that God has a plan for me because of all the things that have happened in my life. And
Yeah.
I know that he has a really exciting future for me, and I want to give that hope to other people who don't have that hope and maybe are struggling or maybe just contemplating, maybe stopping something doing that they know is not good for their health. And I want to give them encouragement that you can do it. And like I said, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
No, absolutely, Rob. I mean, all the ups, all the downs, everything that you've had to go through, whether it be tragedy or triumph, everything has led you to this point in time right now.
That's right.
And that's what matters. You're able to take, all those years of experience now, and now you're able to, through God, be able to, give hope, that, that there is life outside of addiction, and not only is there life, there is meaning, there's purpose, there's hope, there's happiness, there's possibilities, doors that open that you couldn't even, dream of while you were in your addiction. And now because of, making that commitment, investing in yourself, investing in your health, investing in this body that God has given you, now you're able to really, really extend and fully enjoy what God intended this life to truly be.
That's
And that's awesome. It's you're at that point, and you're able to share that with others. So this is a hard question. This has always been hard for me when dealing with family members, because me and you, we share the same answer. This is up to the individual. I mean,
right.
you can put this person in a cage all you want, and sober them up all you want, but at the end of the day, this individual has the freedom of choice, and at some point, at some time, they're going to be alone, and they're going to have to make that choice. Do I want to stay sober, or do I not want to stay sober? So what would you say to family and friends right now that are out there listening, that are supporting someone in their recovery journey?
Yeah, I think it's an awesome question, and I think it's really important that they give them the person grace, just because it's not easy to make that decision, and that can just be there for them, and don't pressure them, and don't try to get them to do things they don't want to do, but just support them, and then give them avenues out of other things, right? It's like, hey, if they know they're gonna go to a party and there's gonna be drinking, they say, hey, why don't I call you at 10 and say, why don't can you come home, and give them an
Yeah,
excuse to get out of there, or some just little things like that, where you can just encourage them and help them through the process. And honestly, I think the most important thing is to pray, right? Pray that they, if they don't have a relationship with God, that they can have a relationship with God, because
yeah,
that can give you the strength that's unbelievable. Once you have that relationship with Him, He can do anything for you. And I relied on Him heavily through that period. I was just like, God, help me through this. I don't this sucks. I don't want to do this. It wasn't. I'm not going to say it was easy. I kind of made it sound like it's easy, but it was very, very difficult, right? But I relied on my wife, and I relied on Christ to just get me through that period. So just encourage them, and help them through that, and don't pressure them, because like you're not going to change their mind, right? They're it's up to them. That
yeah,
person is going, like you said, Chad. It's like they're going to at some point be alone, and there's going to be alcohol sitting right there on the thing, or there's going to be drugs that they can grab and take.
yeah,
There's always going to be that next opportunity, and they need to make that decision in their own minds to say, I don't want to do that. And I got to
yeah,
that point where it's like, I've had alcohol everywhere around me,
yeah,
and I just don't want it anymore. And that's what was so fun for me, is because that transition from when it was becoming I really wanted it to now I really don't want it. It's like it's so weird to have that, because it's like I don't want to have that beer, even though I like the taste of beer. I like the taste of alcohol. You get an old fashioned in front of me, it's like, man, that smells good.
yeah,
It's like so, but it's just I don't want it anymore, and that's such a weird thing, because it's like just the opposite of
yeah,
how I thought I would feel. So
yeah.
you can get there. It's not easy to get to where I am, but everybody can get there.
Yeah. No, and I think you brought up a great point in helping somebody in their recovery, and it's that grace, right?
Yeah.
That grace is so key for that recovering addict, because how are you going to react if that family member, that friend, that that son, that daughter unfortunately makes that, mistake or got led into temptation and has that relapse, what are you going to do at that point? Are you going to um are you going to, feed them negative reinforcement? Because I think at this point right here is where the addict really needs to be able to trust you. The addict really needs to be able to have a safe place. The addict really needs to have what they call, like what we find in Jesus, unconditional love,
Right.
not conditioned love. I don't love you because you check these boxes off. I love you unconditionally no matter what. And no matter what happens, I'm going to be here to love and support you through it. Creating that safe place that, hope to God that it never happens. Hope to God, pray to God every day that that relapse doesn't happen. But just in that off chance or, that mistake may happen, give them that grace, show them that love that we learned from the Savior. Be there to be there to love, support them, and to encourage them. This was just a mistake. This was just a little bump. You are not this. This is not who you are. This was just a little bump in the road, and we're going to help you get back, and it's okay. And we're going to keep moving forward because I believe in you, and you know that recovery is possible. You're feeling better. You're doing these things better. And we're just so proud of you. And we just want to encourage you to keep going because you're amazing and what you're doing, overcoming these struggles, these temptations, this addiction, these coping skills, what you're doing is absolutely amazing. Keep going. And so I love that you brought that up, brought that because that grace is so important. So just transitioning now, Rob, if you could speak directly to the addict that is active in their addiction and is
Yeah.
struggling right now, what advice would you give them just based off your own experience?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. I just want to let them know that I understand. I 100% understand who you are, and I know what you're feeling, and I know what you're thinking, and it's a point where you're okay with what you're doing, but you know there's something wrong, right? You know back deep inside that you probably shouldn't be doing what you're doing, and that deep inside you is going to always be there. So just address it. And if you can go through and just do that introspection and say, is this really who I want to be? When I'm on my deathbed, is this how I want to be known? Right? When people write about me in history, do I want to be known as that person who's always had troubles and always been addicted and always done, or do I want to change that story? And can you make a better story? God literally has a plan for you. You have breath in your lungs today, right? And so since you are breathing, you are alive, that I want to just give you the comfort that it's okay. It's okay to be where you are. But guess what? It can be amazing on the other side. And I am that's the best decision I ever made, was to stop. And so I am much more healthy. I want to give you encouragement that, man, if I can stop, you can stop. And just do a little research, do what you need, get your support group around you, and execute. And you can do it. And then when you get healthy, you're gonna look back on that and say, I did it. I did it. And then every day you're gonna say, oh, I got to do it again today. And
Yeah.
they say one day at a time, because it's really important. You can make that decision every day to turn around and go the other way. But
Right.
I've done that for almost 6 years now, and it's so easy for me now. Was it easy at the beginning? Heck no, it was ridiculously hard, but I did it, and I had a lot of people surround me to support you, and that you will too, and you can have that. And even if you don't, you have the one you can look up to, right? Just
Yeah.
get your Bible, say the prayer, find somebody who goes to church, and have a relationship, with them, and understand what does it take to have a relationship with God. Who is God, right? Who is Jesus? Once you understand that and you can have a direct relationship with him, he can help you get through anything. And
Yeah.
so anyway, that I don't want to make it, obviously I've made it long already, but I just
Oh,
want to let the people know that I know what you feel and how you feel, and it's okay.
yeah.
But you can be better, and you'll be a better person on the other side than you are now, and you're gonna be so proud of yourself that you did it. All right. And then you're gonna look back and say, okay, now I've got something to look forward to where I'm going to make a difference in this world, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
help people. And yes, I had some crazy things that I did in the past, and I had a really bad past, but guess what? That's the past. You can't do anything about that. But what you can do is you can go help people, in the future, and you can help them alleviate, maybe skip a few steps that you took, just by helping them. And that's why I'm doing this show today. I want to help somebody that says, hey, I've been where Rob was, and I'd like to be where he is now. Because man, where I am now is I am so excited about where I'm going and what I'm doing and the impact I'm going to have on this world. It's going to be it's so incredible. I'm already having a big impact, but the impact I'm going to have, I'm excited for you to follow me. Look at Rob, Rene, and then look at where I'm going in the next 5 to 10 years. You're going to be blown away at what
Yeah.
God has planned for me, because it's super exciting.
Yeah, and I mean that's a great transition point because Robin not only was I was overcome with just the work that you had put in to get to your sobriety, the fact that this has been a part of your life, it had been a part of your job, it's what you knew, but your transformation, coming from, I guess we could say an alcoholic, coming from, having to, have that substance in your life every day, the way it was breaking you down. Now you've gotten sober, you can go ahead and share the amazing things that sobriety has brought to you in your life now and what you now have dedicated your life to, um, since you've been able to get sober.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a transition, right? Where one of the things that I, like I mentioned, I got hit by a truck when I was young, right? And that really helped me understand that God had me on this earth for a reason. I wasn't sure what that reason was, but now I believe I do. And what happened is I got hit basically by a second truck in my life. But that second truck is the same truck that you all got hit with, which was the pandemic, right? That just
Yeah.
stopped a lot of people in their tracks, and the world came, shut down for a period of time, and that really helped me do some more research. So when that second truck hit me, I was like, there's something wrong with the world today. It's like they're really vilifying all natural health doctors, and I don't understand what's happening. They're wanting us to take all these shots, and it's like, okay, now I got to wear a mask, and I just didn't understand what was happening. So I did a lot of research, and what I found just really woke me up to a really serious issue we have in our country around health. I believe our medical system has been taken over in the early 1900s, and we really have a pill for an ill society, where it's like when you do have a problem, you have to go to the doctor, and the doctor gives you a pill. And that doctor is usually specialized in one area of medicine, and then guess what? You take that for a while, and then you start getting another problem, and then you go, oh, I need to go to another doctor for another specialist, and they give you another pill. Now you're on two pills. And then that just keeps continuing. And guess the average senior, guess how many prescription medications they take in a year period? The average senior.
I'm going to go as far as saying 8.
Yeah, and it's 15. So
Oh,
it's 12 to 15,
geez.
depending upon the research. But still, you think about that in a year period, they're taking 12 different prescription medications. That's just ridiculous. And then and so that's just a huge problem that we've got to overcome. So I've been on a mission. I'm like, okay, now that I've been getting healthy, and I mentioned my transition from being out of shape and not doing the right things. I've been researching all biohacking things and how do you eat healthy, how do you do nutrition. And so I always tell people there's really 3 important things I want you to do, right? I want you to drink enough water, right? That water is super important with your intake, and you need to get some vitamin D. You need to get some sun, and I think sun is super important. And then the third one is grounding. This is something that my wife told me about. You know, she likes to do natural health stuff, and she's like, "You need to go ground." I'm like, "Give me a break. I don't need to go ground. I like to wear my shoes." But the more research I did, she's spot on, perfect, right? You really re-energize your body, and you get rid of a lot of toxins just by getting your feet out on the God-given earth. And then I started learning about energy, and I started doing research on energy. And one of the problems through that pandemic is like, how can I help? Right? I want to help people. How can I help? So my brother and I were going to create supplements to help people. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go create a supplement. And then well, I was working with this formulator, and he's like, have you heard of quantum energy? And I'm like, no, quantum what? And I'd never heard of that term before. And I've heard of quantum computing, but never quantum energy. So anyway, to make a really long story short, he introduced me to this mad scientist who's been working on this technology for 30 years. And he'd been able to take this technology and put these skin patches together that help with common health issues. So I've got these skin patches, and I created a company that takes these skin patches, and they have energy on them, and they have intentions, and they have Bible verses that are all on the patch. You apply it to your energy system in your body, and it helps like relieve pain, or it helps with allergies. It helps with brain fog. So literally, and it's all natural. It's all just 100% frequency-based medication instead of drugs. So it's really an amazing product that we put together, and I'm really helping change the world with this, because I'm getting people off of those big pharma drugs, and they're able to take these or put these patches on. They're just super simple. It's just literally, I'll just show you some examples here. We got like 14 different products. We got pain and anti-anxiety, sleep. We have a weight loss one. And it's just literally a little patch you put on your body. And then we give people a prayer guide that we like them to use. So they're using their mouth to declare the prayer, and they're using their eyes to read it and their ears to hear themselves say it. So they're using those 3 senses, and then they combine it with the patch, and using 4 out of your God-given senses to help you with your problem, whether it's anxiety, whether it's brain fog, whether it's pain. And this product is really helping people in a really big way. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah, no, that is absolutely amazing. See, you guys, what a little bit of sobriety can do for you.
Right, that's
I mean,
right.
who
Yeah.
knows?
We're gonna change the world together now, right? So
Who knows? Who knows what you're capable of? What's
That's
what's
right.
possible out there for you once
That's
you
right.
make that choice and
Yep.
decide to get sober. Sky is the limit. Rob is living proof.
I am.
Once you take your life back, what is possible through God, through you. Like Rob is living proof of that. He spent years and years in a controlled environment, where day in, day out, it was Groundhog Day. And once he decided to make that choice, to step away from a substance that was deteriorating his body, slowly breaking down a healthy relationship with his wife, all of a sudden now Rob is now in a position not only to tell people recovery is possible, but now he can give the ability to others to heal their body, to take back their health, and to do in a healthy way. And I'm just so grateful to be able to have you on the show, Rob, and be an advocate, not just for recovery, but this life-changing way of being able to take back your health,
Yeah, that's
and
important.
to use, and to use, these alternatives now, healthy alternatives
Yeah.
that are allowing
Off of big pharma
people.
drugs, right? Let's help people get off of those.
Yeah,
It's just destructive. It's
yeah,
like literally the best gift you can give someone else is your health, right? And you got to get sober to
absolutely.
give
Yeah,
them that. But then once you can give them your health, then guess what, man? The sky's the limit. And it's just so exciting what things are happening. So if you're interested in looking at these products, that the website is QE for quantum energy, QE Strong, STRONG, QEstrong.com, and there's the 14 different products that are there that are amazing. And then want to make sure if you go and you check them out and you want to get some of them, when you check out, use the coupon code CHAD. And it's CHAD.
yeah,
You use that coupon code, and you'll get 15% discount off of the already discounted purchases on the site. So you can go look and check it out. But it's really neat technology that's helping people, all natural, no drug interactions, and it can really help you step through some of the issues you may have even through recovery. So I encourage you to look into that.
absolutely, guys. And I would just reiterate all of that. It's one thing for me and Rob to sit here and talk about recovery and how important it is, to regain your life, to live a happy, meaningful life. But now, with Rob's help, now we can give those recovering addicts or just anybody out there suffering with physical ailments, now giving you guys the opportunity now to take control of your health and support a healthy lifestyle. So after this episode gets aired, you guys, as he stated, that website, I too will, I too in the comments will post that link, as well as that coupon code. I mean, 15% off, you guys. Use my name, Chad. Please take advantage of this. This is such an amazing way that, we're not just talking about recovery, but now we are able to provide other means to take back your life, to take back your health. So I would encourage everybody out there who is suffering from any of those ailments that Rob had just discussed. Definitely look into this new wave of technology in receiving, medication now that is fast acting and is all natural. It's freaking amazing. Rob, you have been an amazing guest, my friend. Everything that you do, I'm so grateful, for all the ups and downs that God has put you right where you
It's been
belong.
a ride.
Yeah, I'm so grateful God put you right where you belong, and you are doing such amazing things, not just for yourself and your family, but for your community, and those who are suffering. You're a great example of a true follower of Christ, and I admire you for that, and I admire you for listening to the Spirit, to His promptings, and take your life a step forward, and now providing um, those out there who are facing physical ailments, alternatives
Yeah.
from Big Pharma to be able to receive relief and receive help, to be able to allow them to enjoy, whatever years that we have left, and until God takes our last breath. May we live it enjoyably, happily, and healthy, and meaningful. Rob, it's been a great show, guys. This has been another great episode here on Rock Bottoms Up, and I just want to leave you with this. No matter where you are in your journey, recovery is not just possible, it's within your reach. I stand here today, Rob stands here today as living proof that change is achievable, that transformation is real, and that a brighter, sober tomorrow awaits each and every one of us. Never lose sight of the incredible strength within you. You have the power to rewrite your story and reclaim your life. Remember this, even in our darkest moments, we have the power to rise out of it. We have survived 100% of our worst days, and we're not going to stop today. Believe in yourself. Take that first step and know that the path to recovery is going to help you say, I can, instead of I can't. And the doors of possibility are going to open up where you never thought were possible, because you started and finally investing in yourself. We are in this together, and we may not be fighting the same battles, but we are fighting the same enemy together, and we're going to take back what is ours, and that is our life. We're united, walking in this path towards a future filled with hope, healing, freedom, while picking up our new brothers and sisters along the way. Thank you for joining us here on Rock Bottoms Up, everybody. Rob, thank you again. This has been an amazing episode. I am your host, Chad Sommer, telling you, keep fighting for your freedom, because you're worth it.
God bless. Amen.